Good morning, everybody, and I just want to ask you a question to start today's assembly. Have you ever broken anything? I know I have. And sometimes we can mend things, can't we? Sometimes, but it has to use different things. So I've got a picture here. Broken. What could I use? Well, good bit of sellotape will sort that one out. That'll be great. Sometimes pencils break. Got a broken pencil. I'm not going to be able to write anything with that, am I? So what do I need? Pencil sharpener. Okay, what about if you actually break yourself? You get a cut, ow, on your hand. What would you use then? Well, you might use a plaster. That's what's in here, and it would stop your bleeding and help you get better. And then, oh, what about toys? Oh my bunny, well actually I bought it for my son. He developed this week a nasty gap in the back. I think I need to mend that. What do you think I can use? Needle and thread. Yep, that's my job for this evening. But you know what? There are other things that break sometimes, aren't there? Friendships. And sometimes we can't really use sellotape or needle and thread to mend them. And that's what our theme is all about. I'm going to tell you a story about one of these occasions when a friendship got broken. And let's see what happens and whether they can mend it. So Omar loved to play with his friend Freddie. They enjoyed one another's company and had lots of fun playing football and doing other things together. One day they were playing in the garden with Freddie's model aeroplane. Woo! Omar asked if he could have a turn, and of course Freddie agreed. The plane went high into the sky with Omar at the controls. It looped the loop and flew upside down. Omar was really enjoying himself, but suddenly the engine started coughing and spluttering. The plane broke into a spin and hurled towards the ground. It plummeted to the earth and smashed its nose and a wing as it did so. Freddie was not happy. He picked up the pieces. He was furious. "It's all your fault," he said. "I never want to play with you again." Now Omar was really upset. He was almost crying as he said, "I'm sorry, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't mean to smash the plane." But Freddie was still blazingly angry. He saw Omar's football on the lawn. So he ran over to it, kicked it out into the road where a lorry came by and smashed it flat. Oh dear. Omar went, found his flattened ball and came back to Freddie saying, "Look what you've done. That was your fault. Go away. I don't want to be friends anymore." Now, Freddie was angry, but he was sad. He knew that he too had done wrong. And the boys just went their separate ways. They made no attempt to see each other. Freddie's dad mended his aeroplane and Omar's dad bought him another football. But even with their things mended, both boys were not happy at all. They began to miss one another's company. Omar sat down on the bench in his garden and felt very lonely. He was sad he'd ruined Freddie's aeroplane, and equally sad that Freddie wouldn't forgive him. And somehow Omar still didn't know whether he could forgive Freddie for kicking his ball into the road. Omar's dad saw how upset he was. He knew what had happened, and he said, "You know, you'd be much happier if you forgave one another and became friends again." Omar realised just how much he wanted to be friends again with Freddie. "I'll go see him," he said. He waved goodbye and was just about to open the garden gate when Freddie appeared. Freddie and Omar were pleased to see each other. Freddie said, "I forgive you for crashing my aeroplane, and please forgive me for kicking your ball into the road. The path of that lorry," he added. The boys shook hands and they realised that their friendship was way more important than the football or the aeroplane. And they were happy again because they were best of friends. So, a story that many of us have probably had something like that happen to us, where things have gone wrong, things have got broken, and we're really upset and we get angry, and sometimes we do need a little bit of time to calm down, to feel a little bit more calmer. But what really helped was forgiving one another, for saying sorry and then accepting that sorry, and then they mended the friendship that was broken. So let's hope that through this week we just really understand a bit more about forgiveness, how important it is and how amazing it is, and how it can really help everybody to get on well and to have a much happier and better life. So now it's time for a special interview with the Reverend Nicholas Aiken. So what's he going to teach us all about forgiveness? So, Nicholas, you're here to help us with our theme of forgiveness, and here are some questions we would love you to answer. So, number one, when you hear the word forgiveness, what colour do you think of and why?
The colour I think of when it comes to forgiveness is purple, because purple is a very serious colour, and actually forgiveness, real forgiveness, is quite a difficult, serious thing, because when someone hurts you by something they say or something they do, it takes a lot of energy to forgive them. So the colour I think of is purple, because purple is serious, it's slightly dark, and it's earnest. So I think the colour is purple.
Fantastic. A very rich colour, isn't it? That's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, what about when you hear the word forgiveness, what animal do you think of and why?
Oh, definitely one's dog. Now, the fortunate thing is our dog, Ella, can forgive us so easily because she's so good and well behaved. But our previous dog, Harvey, he used to sometimes drive us up the walls because he'd run off and he would make a nuisance of himself and he'd jump over the fence. And one always had to tolerate and forgive his naughty behavior.
Ooh, okay, that's very good. I like that. Okay, what about a person? Who do you think of when you hear the word forgiveness?
Well, I think of Nelson Mandela because having been to South Africa and to Cape Town and been to Robben Island where he was incarcerated, he was in prison for 28 years. So how on earth he managed to forgive the white regime that imprisoned him for all those years. I mean, we think lockdown's bad enough, but that's nothing in comparison to being into a bare prison cell as he was for 28 years, and then to come out and not being bitter and forgive others is just amazing. Amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah. And I've been to the cell where he was in Robben Island, just off Cape Town. And, you know, the cell is so small and he just slept on a mat on the floor. and in the wintertime it had been freezing, and the conditions were just awful. So his forgiveness was just astonishing. And he really points to the best in people who realize the things that are important, and that actually forgiveness heals and helps. And if you don't forgive, you only kill yourself.
Wow. Okay. What about you personally? When did you last forgive?
Well, I think actually it's something we all have to do all the time, because sometimes people will say things or they'll do things that upset you or hurt you. And that happens all the time. But you've got to take an attitude of not being precious or not being particular about getting your own way all the time. So you've got to be open-minded. You've got to move on. You've got to forgive constantly, as you want other people to forgive you. So it's...
Yeah, you've really answered my last question, which is, why is forgiveness important? And you've given lots of reasons already. Is there one reason in particular that might be really helpful for our children to hear of why forgiveness is important?
Because if you don't forgive people, it just makes you a nasty person, because you'll end up bitter and twisted and angry, and it doesn't help you at all. And that's why, Jesus was all about forgiveness, because he recognized the damage it can do to yourself if you don't forgive.
So forgiveness isn't just about helping other people. It's really about helping yourself and helping you to keep loving and keep full of joy, rather than anger and nastiness, which comes out if we're hurt still.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.
I'm so sorry, please forgive for what I do. If I hurt you in the playground, please know I did not mean to. We all make mistakes, but mistakes can make us better. If we let them teach the lesson, we can choose a better way. You are my friend. Oh no, I've done it again. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna give it another go. I forgive you. I see you're very sorry. Everybody can live happy if we forgive. I'm so sorry, I was jealous, but now I realize I am not your only friend, so you should play with who you like. You are my friend. Oh no, I've done it again. I'm really sorry. I'm gonna give it another go. I forgive you. I see you're very sorry. Everybody could